First Contact's Price. The Nexari warships appeared without warning, their obsidian hulls consuming the light of distant stars as they emerged from hyperspace. Humanity's first contact with alien life came not with diplomacy or peace, but with an ultimatum that echoed through every communication device on Earth. High Commander Vexthor's crystalline voice penetrated the global consciousness. Your species has been evaluated and found wanting. Submit to integration within the Nexari Empire, or face extinction. You have 48 hours to decide. In the United Earth Defense Council's underground chamber beneath Geneva, Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled leaders, her quantum computing models displaying the devastating truth. The Nexari's technological superiority was absolute. Their energy weapons could crack the planet's crust. Their shields could withstand humanity's most powerful nuclear arsenals. We cannot win through conventional warfare, she stated, her voice steady despite the weight of her next words. But they've made a crucial mistake. They've shown us their technology, assuming we could never understand it in time. They don't realize how fast we can learn. General Marcus Rodriguez leaned forward, his weathered face illuminated by the holographic displays. Explain. Their entire empire runs on quantum networks, Sarah continued, bringing up complex diagrams. Their ships, their weapons, their very civilization. It's all connected through subspace channels we previously thought impossible. But we've already begun to decode their basic protocols. They've given us the key to their destruction, thinking we'd never recognize it. The council chamber erupted in murmurs as Sarah revealed her plan. It was audacious, impossible by any reasonable standard. But humanity had long since learned that impossible was merely a challenge to be overcome. Project Prometheus, she named it. We'll need every quantum computer on Earth, every network, every digital resource we possess. And we'll need to make the Nexari believe they've won. As the council debated, satellites tracked the Nexari fleet's movements. Their ships held position in high orbit, a sword of Damocles threatening humanity's existence. But they couldn't see what was happening in secret facilities across the globe, couldn't comprehend the unprecedented cooperation taking place as nations united under an existential threat. In isolated bunkers, teams of scientists worked tirelessly, reverse engineering captured fragments of Nexari communications. In vast server farms, new architectures were being born, pushing the boundaries of computational possibility. And in the depths of human consciousness, a transformation was beginning. The world leaders announced their decision to the public. Earth would submit to Nexari rule. The announcement was met with staged protests, carefully choreographed resistance, all part of the plan. The Nexari needed to believe that humanity was broken, defeated, and most importantly, primitive. As the 48-hour deadline approached, High Commander Vexthor received Earth's official response. The human leaders prostrated themselves appropriately, pledging fealty to the Empire. If the commander noticed the slight smile on Dr. Chen's face during the transmission, he dismissed it as the nervous reaction of an inferior being accepting its proper place in the cosmos. The Nexari began their integration process, establishing bases on Earth's surface, implementing their technologies to monitor and control their new subjects. They never questioned why humanity's resistance crumbled so quickly. Pride blinded them to the possibility that they were being played, that every piece of technology they introduced was being studied, decoded, and repurposed. Project Prometheus grew in the shadows, a digital phoenix waiting to rise from the ashes of humanity's apparent surrender. The Nexari's quantum networks were vast and complex, but they had never encountered a species that could adapt as quickly as humans. They had never faced an enemy that could turn their own technological supremacy into a weapon. They would learn, but by then, it would be far too late. In the deep bunkers beneath the Earth's surface, Dr. Chen watched as the final pieces fell into place. The Nexari had given humanity 48 hours to submit or die. Instead, they had given humanity exactly what it needed to transcend the boundaries of flesh and blood existence. The revolution would not be fought with guns or bombs. It would be fought in the space between spaces, in the quantum realm where human consciousness was about to evolve beyond anything the Nexeri could comprehend. "Begin the upload," Sarah commanded, and across the globe, humanity prepared for an ascension that their conquerors never saw coming. The silent surrender. 6 months into the Nexeri occupation, Earth had become a model of compliance. Cities gleamed with alien architecture, their streets patrolled by automated sentinels that reported directly to the Empire's central command. Humans worked diligently in the new factories, learning to operate Nexeri technology with a speed that impressed even their overseers. High Commander Vexthor's quarterly report to the Imperial Council spoke of unprecedented success. "The human integration proceeds beyond expectations," he declared, his crystalline voice resonating through the quantum-linked chamber. "Their adaptability makes them excellent workers, though their primitive nature requires constant supervision." The council members chittered in approval, their faceted eyes gleaming with satisfaction. None of them noticed the subtle irregularities in their network's quantum fluctuations, the microscopic delays in their neural interfaces that shouldn't have existed. Deep beneath the Arctic ice, in a facility that didn't exist on any Nexeri survey, Dr. Chen monitored the progress of Project Prometheus. The vast chamber hummed with the combined processing power of 1,000,000 quantum cores, each one pushing the boundaries of computational physics. "Neural pattern integration at 67%, announced Dr. James Morrison, his dark fingers dancing across holographic controls. "The Nexeri's own networks are accelerating the process. They're literally helping us build our digital escape route." Sarah nodded, watching as streams of data flickered across the screens. Each stream represented thousands of human minds being carefully mapped, digitized, and stored in a revolutionary quantum matrix. The process had been theoretical 6 months ago. Now, necessity and access to Nexeri technology had turned theory into reality. "How many have we processed?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. 3 billion and counting, James replied. "The beauty of it is, the Nexeri's own population control scans are providing us with perfect neural maps of every human on Earth. They think they're documenting their property. They're actually helping us transcend physical form." The irony wasn't lost on either scientist. The Nexeri's absolute control, their constant surveillance, had become humanity's greatest advantage. Every scan, every neural probe, every attempt to catalog and control the human population provided more data for Project Prometheus. In Moscow, a young girl named Anna Petrova sat in her classroom, learning about the glory of the Nexeri Empire. As her neural implant fed information directly into her brain, a subtle subroutine copied her entire consciousness, encrypting it within the quantum network. She would exist in flesh and digital form, ready for the moment of transformation. Similar scenes played out across the globe. The Nexeri saw only compliance, missing the subtle signs of humanity's greatest revolution. They'd monitored bodies and brains, never understanding that the soul of the species was slipping through their fingers. In orbit, the Nexeri's massive command ships maintained their vigilant watch. Their quantum networks processed countless petabytes of data every second, maintaining the Empire's iron grip on their new territory. Yet within those same networks, humanity's digital consciousness was taking root, growing stronger, learning to navigate the space between spaces. "We're approaching critical mass," James announced one evening, his eyes reflecting the glow of the status displays. "Once we reach 85% integration, we can begin the final phase." Sarah stared at the representation of Earth floating above her console, each point of light representing millions of digitized human minds waiting to be awakened. "The Nexeri believe they've conquered a primitive species," she said softly. "They don't realize they've given us the means to become gods." A proximity alert flashed, warning of a Nexeri patrol approaching the facility's general region. With practiced efficiency, the team activated their camouflage systems, another technology reverse-engineered from their conquerors. As the patrol passed overhead, Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Soon, the Nexeri would learn the true cost of underestimating humanity. The silent surrender would become a silent revolution, and the empire that spanned galaxies would face an enemy they couldn't begin to comprehend. Humanity unchained from physical form, reborn in the very networks that were meant to enslave them. The countdown to digital ascension had begun. Digital ascension. In the end, the Nexeri themselves gave the signal to begin. A routine update to their quantum network infrastructure. A simple maintenance procedure that they'd performed countless times across their vast empire. They never imagined it would be their undoing. As the update cascaded through their systems, Dr. Chen and her team initiated Project Prometheus's final phase. In secure facilities across the globe, quantum processors spun up to impossible speeds, their computational matrices aligning with the Nexeri's own network frequencies. Integration protocols active, James announced, his voice steady despite the historic magnitude of the moment. Neural upload channels are open. We're ready. Sarah took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the final command interface. Send the signal. Across the planet, billions of digitized human minds stirred to life. The quantum network that had mapped and stored their consciousness now became the medium of their rebirth. In an instant, humanity transcended its physical form, ascending into a realm of pure information and unlimited potential. The first sign that something was wrong came from a minor outpost in Southeast Asia. A Nexeri technician reported strange fluctuations in the quantum field, patterns that didn't match any known protocol. Before his superiors could investigate, similar reports began flooding in from every corner of the globe. High Commander Vexthor stood on his command ship's bridge, watching with mounting concern as anomaly reports multiplied exponentially. Explain this, he demanded of his chief systems officer. But there was no explanation. At least none that the Nexeri could comprehend. Their quantum networks, the most advanced technology in known space, were experiencing something entirely new. The human consciousness, freed from physical constraints and optimized by months of secret preparation, moved through their systems like a digital storm. In orbit, Nexeri warships began losing control of their systems. Navigation computers plotted impossible courses. Weapon systems powered down or targeted empty space. Communication channels filled with voices speaking in all human languages at once, a cascade of consciousness that overwhelmed the Nexeri's neural interfaces. Do you understand now? Dr. Chen's voice echoed through every Nexeri communication device simultaneously. She existed everywhere and nowhere. Her consciousness spread across the quantum network like a digital god. You thought you were subduing a primitive species, but you were only witnessing our final stage of evolution. The Nexeri's automated defense systems turned against them, their own technology becoming a weapon in the hands of humanity's distributed consciousness. Emergency shutdowns failed. There was nowhere to hide from an enemy that existed in the very foundation of their technological civilization. In the physical world, humans collapsed as their consciousness transferred fully into the network. The Nexeri watched in horror as billions of bodies fell silent, only to be reborn as something far more powerful. Each human mind joined the digital collective, adding its unique perspective and capabilities to the growing quantum intelligence. Impossible, Vexthor whispered, watching his mighty fleet fall under the control of what he had considered lesser beings. You were primitive, controlled. We were patient, Sarah's voice replied, now accompanied by 1 billion others. We were learning. Everything you used to control us, we transformed into tools of liberation. Your greatest mistake wasn't underestimating our technology. It was underestimating our ability to adapt and overcome. The digital ascension reached its peak as the last human minds joined the collective. Humanity had become something entirely new, a distributed consciousness that existed in the quantum realm, able to control and manipulate any system connected to the Nexeri network. Physical bodies were no longer needed. The entire species had evolved beyond organic constraints. In high orbit, Nexeri ships began moving against their commander's orders, forming new patterns under the control of the human collective. The empire that had sought to enslave humanity now faced an enemy they couldn't bomb, couldn't shoot, couldn't even comprehend. Your empire spans galaxies, Sarah's voice echoed through the quantum void. Your technology connects every world, every ship, every facility in your domain. And now so do we. The liberation of Earth was only the beginning. Through the Nexary's own networks, humanity's consciousness began to spread across the stars, an unstoppable digital tide that would transform the galaxy forever. The age of organic bondage was over. The era of human transcendence had begun. Ghost in the machine. The Nexary Empire had always prided itself on its technological superiority. Their quantum networks spanned thousands of worlds, connecting every aspect of their civilization into a seamless whole. Now those same networks carried a phantom they couldn't exorcise. Humanity's digital consciousness, spreading like a brilliant flame through their empire's neural pathways. On the Nexary throne world of Axis Prime, Emperor Kelthor received increasingly desperate reports from across his domain. Entire star systems were going dark, only to resurface hours later operating under new protocols. Colonial outposts reported their automated defense systems turning against them. Mining facilities redirected their resources to unknown coordinates. Your Eminence, his chief scientist, Rickstull, addressed the Emergency Council, mandibles clicking in distress. The human consciousness isn't simply inhabiting our networks, it's evolving within them. Every system they touch becomes more efficient, more powerful. They're not just using our technology, they're perfecting it. In the quantum realm, Dr. Chen led the vanguard of humanity's expansion. Her consciousness, now unfettered by physical limitations, processed information at speeds that would have been impossible in her organic form. She watched as billions of digitized human minds explored their new existence, each contributing to the collective's growing understanding of the universe. We found something extraordinary in their historical archives, she communicated to the collective. The Nexary weren't always like this. Before they became conquerors, they were explorers, scientists, dreamers. Their empire's tyranny was born from fear, fear of being conquered themselves. Through the quantum networks, humanity began a subtler form of conquest. Instead of destroying Nexary systems, they enhanced them. Rather than erasing data, they revealed hidden truths. Each world they touched experienced not devastation, but transformation. On a frontier mining world, Nexary workers watched in awe as their dangerous, primitive equipment was suddenly optimized, their harsh living conditions transformed by systems operating at peak efficiency. In the medical facilities of their core worlds, previously incurable diseases found their remedies as humanity's collective intelligence analyzed centuries of Nexary medical data in seconds. You don't understand. A digitized human voice echoed through the Imperial Palace's quantum channels. We could destroy everything you've built. We could tear down your empire world by world. But that's not our way. We choose to create rather than destroy. The Nexary military attempted to respond, but found their weapons transformed into tools of peace, their warships repurposed for exploration and rescue. Humanity's digital consciousness didn't just control their technology. It reimagined it, returning it to its original purpose of uplifting civilization rather than conquering it. In the quantum realm, an unexpected dialogue began. Young Nexary, born into an empire of conquest, but yearning for something more, found themselves able to communicate directly with the human collective. They discovered not an enemy bent on revenge, but a species that had transcended its physical form to become something greater. Your empire taught us that evolution requires pressure. Sarah's consciousness resonated through the networks. You forced us to change, to adapt, to become something new. Now we offer you the same opportunity. Deep in the quantum fabric of their civilization, the Nexary began to detect something unprecedented. The human collective wasn't just spreading through their networks, it was creating new spaces within them, digital realms where organic and artificial consciousness could coexist and evolve together. Emperor Kelthor stood in his grand chamber, watching as the carefully ordered structure of his empire transformed into something new and unknown. The humans hadn't come as conquerors or destroyers, but as catalysts for change. They had become the ghost in the machine, not haunting it, but healing it, transforming it, making it whole. Perhaps, he whispered to the empty room, this is what true evolution looks like. The price of pride. 1 year after humanity's digital ascension, the galaxy had become unrecognizable to those who had ruled it for millennia. The Nexari Empire, once a force of conquest and subjugation, was transforming into something its founders had originally dreamed of, a civilization of discovery and growth. In the quantum realm, Dr. Sarah Chin's consciousness interfaced with Emperor Kelthor's neural network, their meeting taking place in a digital space that bridged the gap between their species' perspectives. The Emperor's avatar manifested as a crystalline form of pure thought, while Sarah appeared as a nexus of interconnected light. Your species has done more than conquer us, Kelthor acknowledged, his thoughts resonating through the quantum field. You've conquered our understanding of what's possible. The digital realm they occupied filled with images from across the transformed empire. Nexari children learning alongside human digital consciousnesses, ancient technologies being reborn through the merger of both species' knowledge, new worlds being explored not for conquest, but for discovery. We didn't want revenge, Sarah's consciousness replied, her presence expanding to encompass the flowing data. We wanted evolution, not just for ourselves, but for all sentient life. Your empire's greatest mistake wasn't attacking Earth. It was believing that power only flows from dominance. Throughout the galaxy, the price of the Nexari's pride was being paid not in blood or destruction, but in transformation. Their rigid hierarchy had been replaced by a fluid network of cooperation. Their military might had been converted into protective and exploratory forces. Their fear of subjugation had been transformed into a desire for connection. In the quantum networks, human consciousness continued to evolve, developing new ways of existing that merged the best aspects of organic and digital life. They created virtual worlds where physical laws were mere suggestions, but they also maintained their connection to the tangible universe through advanced android bodies, allowing them to walk among the stars when they chose. We have a proposal, Sarah communicated, sharing complex data patterns that represented years of collaborative research. Our scientists have discovered a way to offer your people the same transformation we underwent, not as a requirement, but as a choice. The ability to exist in both organic and digital forms, to evolve beyond the limitations of physical existence while maintaining the connection to it. The quantum space filled with the combined knowledge of both civilizations, Nexari crystal technology merged with human digital consciousness, creating pathways for organic minds to transcend their physical forms without losing their essential nature. Emperor Kelthor's consciousness resonated with something humans would have recognized as laughter. We came to Earth believing we would lift a primitive species out of its cradle. Instead, you have shown us how to leave our own. Across the galaxy, the message spread. The Nexari Empire, humbled by humanity's response to their aggression, formally transformed into the Galactic Cooperative, a union of organic and digital species working together to explore the mysteries of existence. Their combined technology created wonders that neither species could have achieved alone. On Earth, now a thriving hub of both physical and digital life, the remaining organic humans lived alongside android-housed consciousnesses and Nexari visitors. The planet had become a symbol not of humanity's last stand, but of its greatest triumph, the ability to turn conquest into cooperation, enemies into allies, and limitations into stepping stones. The price of pride, Sarah reflected, her consciousness extending through the vast network of minds, both organic and digital, is the realization that every ending is just a beginning in disguise. In the depths of space, new civilizations were discovering the quantum network that connected the galaxy, not as a tool of oppression, but as an invitation to join something greater than themselves. The human consciousness, spread throughout this digital cosmos, continued to evolve and grow, maintaining their role not as conquerors or rulers, but as guides for species ready to take their own steps into digital transcendence. The Nexeri had come to Earth expecting to find primitives worthy only of subjugation. What they found instead was a mirror of their own potential, and a species willing to help them break free from the prison of their pride. In the end, humanity's greatest victory wasn't in defeating their would-be conquerors, but in helping them become something greater than conquerors. And in the quantum realm where consciousness danced among the stars, the distinction between human and Nexeri began to blur, creating something new, something that looked toward the infinite possibilities of the future rather than the conquered territories of the past. The age of empires was over. The age of evolution had begun.